based on your own admission policies, how to adopt CUET. But however, there are many other universities which are still looking for more information, and I'm sure the presentation that Professor Gandhi, Dean Admissions at Delhi University, the presentation that she is going to make will provide a lot of clarity on how to adopt CUET. After the presentation is over, we will remain in the meeting for some more time. And if you have any queries, any questions, any suggestions, we will take up all those things after the presentation. So let me now invite Professor Gandhi to share her slides and make a brief presentation. Professor Gandhi, you can share the slides now. This program is also live telecast across the country. Many people are watching our YouTube channel and also the Twitter handle where this presentation will be brought.
Thank you, sir. I had to be unmuted. So, thank you so much, sir. Namaskar, sabhi ko. My slide visible? Am I audible?
You are audible, you are visible, but the slides are not yet visible.
Right.
Yes, they are visible now. Please go ahead.
So, thank you so much, sir. And it is an honor. मेरे लिए बहुत ही सम्मान गर्व की बात है कि मैं यहाँ पर आपके सामने दिल्ली विश्वविद्यालय ने जो पॉलिसीज और CUET को लेकर पॉलिसीज बनाई है उनके साथ शेयर करने का मौका दिया. Thankful to all of you and to sir for giving me this opportunity of sharing the initiatives that we have taken at University of Delhi. So the undergraduate programs University of Delhi this year will be done through the Common Entrance Test CUET, and of course is a transition landmark step for all of us, since we will be moving from the board-based merit-based system to a nationwide entrance-based, and more so because this year your university is also entering its 100th year. So we are very proud and we are very happy to make this transition from board-based merit-based system of admissions to a nationwide one test policy regarding admissions. In University of Delhi, we offer admissions to almost 73 undergraduate programs, which of course includes bachelor's, arts, science, commerce, management courses, vocational subjects, professional courses, and some performance-based courses as well. Admissions to all these courses in सभी कार्यक्रम इन सभी programs में जो प्रवेश की प्रक्रिया होगी वो सारी CUET के बेस्ड पर होगी. जो CUET के मार्क्स लाएंगे उन्हीं के आधार पर एडमिशंस होंगी, चाहे वो ऑनर्स का कोर्स हो, प्रोफेशनल कोर्सेज हो, चाहे BA प्रोग्राम हो. तो सभी एलिजिबिलिटीज are based on the CUET marks of all these programs. In our past policy, अभी तक हम जो करते थे, थोड़ा सा glimpse आपको बता दूं. Till now, we were admitting candidates on the basis of the marks that they obtain in class 12th boards. और उनकी जो merit होती थी, वो या तो best 3 पे होती थी या best 4 पे. यानी साइंस के जो प्रोग्राम्स होते थे, उनमें हम best 3 काउंट करते थे, और जो बाकी अन्य प्रोग्राम होते थे, उनमें हम बेस्ट 4 के आधार पर उनके मार्क्स लेकर एडमिशन किया करते थे. हम इस स्पिरिट को अभी भी मेंटेन करें. वी आर ऑनरिंग द स्पिरिट ऑफ द स्टूडेंट परफॉर्मिंग बेटर और बेस्ट, एंड टू ऑनर दिस परफॉर्मेंस इन द लाइट ऑफ CUET एज वेल. Student will have a lot of flexibility in making and giving the test, and for her best performance will be considered to CUET. So admission to CUET, some of the policy decisions that we have taken is that all our undergraduate programs will be done through CUET, except there are two organizations in Delhi University. One is the School of Open Learning and Non-Collegiate Women Education Board, which is called NCWEB. And of course, the students who come from abroad, who are foreign nationals. For these students, CUET is not mandatory. For these students, admissions will still continue on the merit-based system. This has been done in a manner, all these students they are not left if they miss to give CUET. So complete honor to these students who can come through a merit-based system in School of Open Learning, which is SOL and NCWEB. All admissions will be based only on the scores of CUET 2022, and this will hold all supernumerary seats as well. The eligibility criteria will be based only on the score of CUET, which means that we are no more considering the marks of class 12th. Everything is determined only on the basis of CUET. जितनी भी हमारी एलिजिबिलिटीज हैं वो बहुत ही इंक्लूसिव है और बहुत ही फ्लेक्सिबिलिटी देती है बच्चों CUET में सब्जेक्ट चूज करने का. And one more step that we have taken this year is that there will be no disadvantage on changing the stream. पहले हमारे जब स्ट्रीम चेंज होता था, साइंस से जब वो कॉमर्स में स्ट्रीम आते थे तो उनको कुछ डिसएडवांटेज होता था, 1-2% ऐड होते थे, डिलीट होते थे, सब्जेक्ट बेस होते थे. We are no more doing all these disadvantages. A student can freely move from one discipline or one stream to another stream, and there will be no disadvantage on the basis of this movement. Candidates will have to appear in CUET in only those subjects in which he or she has passed class 12th. यानी बच्चे वही सब्जेक्ट करेंगे क्लास 12th में जिन सब्जेक्ट्स में उन्होंने एग्जाम दिया है. तो मान लीजिए उन्होंने क्लास 12th का एग्जाम फिजिक्स, केमिस्ट्री, बायोलॉजी में दिया है और इंग्लिश में दिया. CUET में भी हम उनसे रिक्वेस्ट करें कि वो इन्हीं सब्जेक्ट्स के अंदर आए. In case the subject studied at class 12th is not mentioned in CUET, it must appear in the subject which is similar or closely related to the subject which she or he has studied class 12th. जैसे कि अगर बायोकेमिस्ट्री 12th में पढ़ा है और CUET में वो बायोलॉजी का पेपर देंगे, तो मेरिट जो होगी उसका आधार सिर्फ उन कॉम्बिनेशंस ऑफ सब्जेक्ट पे होगा जो हमारे प्रोग्राम्स एलिजिबिलिटी का हिस्सा बनेंगे. Every program of ours gives numerous flexibility for candidate to appear in CUET. Merit will be based जो बच्चे का highest score उसके आधार पर merit बनाई जाएगी. In other words, we are going to take the combination of the subjects and we are going to take out the highest score from all the combination of the subjects that student appears in. And of course, gap year is not a bar for the purpose of admission. And however, all such candidates will have to appear in CUET. So the minimum eligibility that we have for all our programs is very simple. They just have to pass 12th examination from a single recognized board. That is it. No other riders. सिर्फ कक्षा 12वीं आपकी पास होनी चाहिए हमारे विद्यालय में एडमिशन लेने के. अब हर प्रोग्राम के हमारे बहुत से प्रोग्राम स्पेसिफिक एलिजिबिलिटीज थी, हमने उन्हें रिटेन किया है. इससे हमारे पास बहुत ही फ्लेक्सिबिलिटी मिल गई है बैलेंस करने की भी. एट वन हैंड ऑनरिंग द चाइल्ड्स preference of papers that she would like to take, as well as balancing the rigor of the graduation program that he or she wishes to enter in. So I'm now going to share our program specific eligibilities. With respect to CUET, आप सब जानते होंगे कि CUET 3 खंडों में विभाजित है. भाषा का एक खंड है, यानी सेक्शन A जो है वो आधारित है. Section 1 is divided into 2 sections, A and 1B. In CUET, 1A is medium based, which means जो पेपर उनका वो उन 13 भाषाओं में ट्रांसलेट होगा. 1B में 20 लैंग्वेजेस हैं, 20 भाषाएं उन्होंने जोड़ी है 1B में. दिल्ली विश्वविद्यालय में एडमिशन लेने के लिए, प्रवेश करने के लिए बच्चा किस भाषा में पेपर दे सकता है, यानी हम उन 20 भाषाओं को इकट्ठा लेकर हमने एक लिस्ट बनाई. 20 और 13, 33 भाषाओं को लेकर हमने ये लिस्ट बनाई है, जिसमें हम सभी भाषाओं में इसे अनुरोध कर रहे हैं कि वो किसी एक भाषा को चुन ले. एक भाषा में अनिवार्य है सभी कार्यक्रमों के लिए, except wherever it may be counted in merit or it may not be counted in merit. I'll come to this subsequently. लेकिन एक भाषा में पेपर देना अनिवार्य है. It is compulsory for the candidates to sit in at least or appear in at least languages out of the 33 languages. Section T2 of CUET, it has 27 domain-specific subjects. We are considering all domain-specific subjects in Delhi University. However, we have categorized them in list B1 and B2. B1 are the subjects which are, they're considered, they have a little more active. B1 are the subjects, which were there in our early list, so we have tried to retain them. B2 are the other subjects which have been added in CUET. But for our admissions, the candidate may choose any subject from section 2. However, there are some program-specific conditions that she has to be careful on. So I'll now go on to, so these are my list B1 and B2. B1 has 18 subjects and list B2 has 19 subjects, which means all 27 subjects of section 2. अब मैं आपके सामने कुछ एग्जाम्पल्स प्रस्तुत करूंगी जो हमारे एडमिशन पॉलिसी के लिए एडमिशंस हमारे, मैं साइंस से शुरू करती हूँ क्योंकि ये बहुत ही सिंपल है. जो हमारे बैचलर्स डिग्री साइंस मैथमेटिक्स एंड टेक्नोलॉजी है यानी बीएससी प्रोग्राम जो है, वहां पर बच्चे की जो मेरिट होगी वो किन्हीं 3 सब्जेक्ट्स के आधारित होगी जो साइंस सब्जेक्ट्स होंगे, जैसे हमारे यहाँ पहले भी होता था. लेकिन जिस लैंग्वेज सब्जेक्ट में बैठेगा या बैठेगी वो उसमें उनको 30% मार्क्स लाना अनिवार्य है, which means language will not be counted considering the merit, but attaining or obtaining a minimum of 30% marks is mandatory for our science based courses. So उदाहरण के लिए जैसे कि बीएससी बायोलॉजिकल साइंसेस, बीएससी ऑनर्स बॉटनी, बीएससी ऑनर्स जूलॉजी में the candidate will have to sit in physics, chemistry or biology. Only these 3 subjects will be counted for the CUET, for the merit. The score of these 3 subjects will be taken as the merit. Counseling will be done on the basis of the of these 3 marks obtained in these 3 subjects. However, the candidate would have obtained a minimum of 30% marks in section 1 of CUET. Similarly, जो हमारे chemistry, फिजिक्स और पॉलीमर साइंस जैसे कोर्सेज हैं, वहां पर केमिस्ट्री और मैथमेटिक्स अनिवार्य है और इन्हीं के अंकों के आधार पर मेरिट तय की जाएगी. थोड़ी और फ्लेक्सिबिलिटी देते हुए कुछ प्रोग्राम्स हैं हमारे, जिस तरह बीएससी ऑनर्स कंप्यूटर साइंस, मैथमेटिक्स एंड फिजिक्स. इन कार्यक्रमों में या इन प्रोग्राम्स में व्हेन वी लुक्ड एट दीस, we realize that there is one particular subject in which we expect the student to do or take at least that subject is compulsory to study these courses. So in these cases, for example, mathematics was decided to be a compulsory component, which means the ability in these subjects would be based on any one language from list A. Mathematics is compulsory. बाकी 2 subjects वो कहीं list B1 से, तो यहाँ पर 4 सब्जेक्ट्स के आधार पर एलिजिबिलिटी है, कोई एक भाषा और मैथमेटिक्स, कोई भी 2 सब्जेक्ट जिनमें से एटलीस्ट एक जो हो वो से हो. तो सेक्शन 2 में वो सभी सब्जेक्ट्स को देखेंगे, किसी भी 2 सब्जेक्ट्स को वो चूज कर सकते हैं, लेकिन हमारी लिस्ट के हिसाब से B1 में कम से कम एक सब्जेक्ट में उनका होना, उनको पेपर देना अनिवार्य. इसी प्रकार एनवायरमेंटल साइंसेस, अब यहाँ देखेंगे हमारे कॉम्बिनेशंस बढ़ गए हैं. कॉम्बिनेशन या तो उसका फिजिक्स केमिस्ट्री बायोलॉजी या फिजिक्स केमिस्ट्री और मैथमेटिक्स. तो जब हम एलिजिबिलिटी बनाएंगे या मेरिट बनाएंगे तो हम बेस्ट स्कोर कंसिडर करेंगे. मान लीजिए उदाहरण के लिए बच्चे ने फिजिक्स केमिस्ट्री मैथ्स और बायोलॉजी 4 पेपर दिए अपने सेक्शन 2 में से, तो हम मेरिट जो है दोनों में से, फिजिक्स केमिस्ट्री तो कंपल्सरी हो गया, बिटवीन बायोलॉजी एंड मैथमेटिक्स हम देखेंगे कि उसने ज्यादा अच्छा किसमें किया है, तो उसके आधार पर हम उनका मेरिट बनाएंगे, फिजिक्स केमिस्ट्री या बायोलॉजी को लेकर या फिजिक्स केमिस्ट्री या और गणित को लेकर. एंड ऑफ कोर्स 30% लैंग्वेज में होना आना अनिवार्य होगा. अब मैं आपके साथ बैचलर्स ऑफ आर्ट्स जो है, जो हमारे बहुत सारे प्रोग्राम्स बीए प्रोग्राम्स है, उनकी एलिजिबिलिटी साझा कर रही हूँ. यहाँ पर most of the programs are based on 1 language and 3 subjects from section 2. However, there are certain aspects attached to it. Here the will be based on the highest score that a candidate obtains from among these 3 subjects one language. उदाहरण के लिए हमारे BA ऑनर्स फिलॉसफी, अप्लाइड साइकोलॉजी, हिस्ट्री, ज्योग्राफी, सोशियोलॉजी, पॉलिटिकल साइंस के लिए कोई भी एक सब्जेक्ट उन 33 सब्जेक्ट में से आपके पास एक पेपर आप उसमें से कोई भी 2 सब्जेक्ट जो हमारे B1 से थे और जो चौथा सब्जेक्ट वो B1 या B2 में से हो सकता है। तो आपके पास मिल गया एक भाषा, 3 सब्जेक्ट B1 से हो सकता है भाषा, 2 सब्जेक्ट B1 से और तीसरा सब्जेक्ट B2 से, चौथा सब्जेक्ट B2 से भी हो सकता है। Again, we are going to do the same thing. We are going to see the best CUET score obtained from this combination of subjects. BA Economics is a well sought subject in Delhi University. Here, mathematics is a compulsory component, and rest of the things are almost the same. गणित का पेपर देना है, उसके साथ आपके पास एक भाषा का पेपर और कोई भी 2 सब्जेक्ट जिनमें से एक हमारी B1 से हो। जो हमारे लैंग्वेजेस के पेपर हैं, ये बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग है बिकॉज यहाँ पर बच्चों के पास बहुत ज्यादा फ्लेक्सिबिलिटी है पेपर चूज करने की, लेकिन इसके साथ साथ हम कुछ प्रेफरेंसेस भी हमने अटैच की। यहाँ पर बच्चा CUET में उस लैंग्वेज को पढ़ेगा तब भी वो है, और मान लीजिए कई बच्चे हमारे पास ऐसे भी आते हैं जिन्होंने 12वीं में वो भाषा नहीं पढ़ी होगी, yet they want to pursue this course, so they can still come to our language honors papers. For example, Sanskrit is a very exceptional and a very interesting example that I would like to share here. Sanskrit, as you would know, appears in 2 places. A में भी संस्कृत CUET के स्ट्रक्चर में है और सेक्शन 2 में भी है। तो हमने 4 कॉम्बिनेशन बनाए संस्कृत को लेकर। ये चारों कॉम्बिनेशंस में ये तो पहला कॉम्बिनेशन है, कोई भी एक सब्जेक्ट लिया और संस्कृत B1 से ली, बाकी 2 सब्जेक्ट्स आप सेक्शन 2 से लीजिए, से एक B1 से। कॉम्बिनेशन 2, कोई भी अन्य भाषा और संस्कृत लिस्ट A से थी यानी सेक्शन, अगेन 2 सब्जेक्ट जिनमें से एक B1 से। कॉम्बिनेशन 3, संस्कृत आपने लिस्ट A से लिया, अब आप कोई भी 3 सब्जेक्ट B1 से ले सेक्शन 2 से ले सकते हैं, जिसमें से एटलीस्ट 2 जो B1 से हो। और चौथा कॉम्बिनेशन जो है, आप कोई भी सब्जेक्ट ले लीजिए लिस्ट A से, चाहे आपने संस्कृत ली चाहे ना ली, और बाकी 3 सब्जेक्ट आपके सेक्शन 2 से हो। ऑफ कोर्स यहाँ पर प्रेफरेंस उन बच्चों को दी जाएगी, जब हम काउंसलिंग करेंगे तो हम कॉम्बिनेशन 1, 2 और 3 पे यानी जिन्होंने संस्कृत का पेपर दिया है उन्हें पहले प्रेफरेंस देंगे, और उसके बाद हम वहां जाएंगे जिन्होंने संस्कृत का पेपर, यानी हमारी सीटें उनसे भी फिल हो जाएंगी जिन्होंने संस्कृत पढ़ी और पेपर दिया, और अगर नहीं पढ़ी है तब भी आप कॉम्बिनेशन 4 से आ सकते हैं अगर हमारी सीट तो। बाकी अन्य भाषाएं जैसे कि almost the same combination goes for Punjabi honors as well. Punjabi from list A, any 2 subjects from list B1, any 1 subject from either B1 और B2, या फिर कोई भी भाषा और कोई भी 3 सब्जेक्ट सेक्शन 2 से होंगे, जिनमें बस 2 होने लिस्ट B1 से अनिवार्य है। प्रेफरेंस ऐसी रहेगी। फ्रेंच सिमिलर टू पंजाबी, इस केस में यस BA प्रोग्राम, ये हमारा बहुत ही वाइड स्प्रेड कोर्स है। BA प्रोग्राम ये ओपन एलिजिबिलिटी के आधार यहाँ हमने 2 ऑप्शंस फ्लोट किए हैं। पहला कॉम्बिनेशन तो यही है कि किसी एक भाषा में और 2 सब्जेक्ट B1 और कोई भी एक सब्जेक्ट चाहे B1 से हो या B2 से हो। अब यहाँ पर बच्चे को ये भी ऑप्शन दे रहे हैं कि वो सेक्शन 3 यानी जो जनरल टेस्ट उससे भी आ सके। तो कॉम्बिनेशन 2 जो है उसमें कोई भी एक भाषा, कोई भी एक सब्जेक्ट, डोमेन स्पेसिफिक सब्जेक्ट ले लीजिए और आप सेक्शन 3 ले लीजिए, उसे चूज कर लीजिए जनरल टेस्ट। तो यहाँ पर बच्चे ने चाहे बेस्ट 4 के आधार पर या जनरल टेस्ट के आधार पर हम उसका एडमिशन कर सकते हैं। एक एस्पेक्ट यहाँ बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है जो मैंने लास्ट लाइन में लिखा हुआ है कि एज द वेट ऑफ CUET सेक्शंस इज नॉट सेम, अप्रोप्रिएट प्रोरेशन विल बी डन। इसका मतलब ये है कि अगर आपने सेक्शन 3 देखा होगा तो इसमें बच्चा जो है कोई भी 60 क्वेश्चन कर सकता है। द चाइल्ड कैन get 60 questions from section 3. However, in combination 1 if you see list A और B में 40 क्वेश्चन है, तो naturally वेटेज जो है सेक्शन 3 की थोड़ी सी डिफरेंट है लिस्ट बी सेक्शन 2, तो यहाँ पर हमें कुछ प्रोरेशन करना पड़ेगा ताकि हम उनको इक्वलाइज कर सके स्कोर्स को और मेरिट बनाने में हमें आसानी हो। तो यहाँ इस तरह का उनका एक उसको प्रोपोर्शनेटली लेकर आएंगे कॉम्बिनेशन 2 को और फिर हम उनके मेरिट निकालेंगे। ये सभी जो है हमारे बीवॉक के प्रोग्राम्स जो हैं या हमारे जितने भी ओपन एलिजिबिलिटी उन सब में ये 2 कॉम्बिनेशंस रखे गए हैं। जैसे कि हिंदी पत्रकारिता, यहाँ पर हिंदी का क्योंकि पर्चा था तो हिंदी पढ़ना अनिवार्य है। हिंदी सेक्शन ए हो, लिस्ट ए से ली हो और एनी 2 सब्जेक्ट फ्रॉम B1, एनी 1 सब्जेक्ट फ्रॉम आइदर लिस्ट B1 और B2, या फिर हिंदी आप लिस्ट ए से लीजिए, जनरल टेस्ट के माध्यम से आप आ सकते हैं। BCom Honors is also a very sought after course in Delhi University. Here we considered 2 subjects out of which one is compulsory, या maths या accountancy. तो combination 1 में आप किसी भी एक भाषा से आइए और कोई भी 2 सब्जेक्ट, combination 2 किसी एक भाषा, accountancy और कोई भी 2 सब्जेक्ट्स। BCom पास ओपन एलिजिबिलिटी है, तो जैसे BA पास का था वैसे ही BCom पास की भी ओपन एलिजिबिलिटी के आधार पर टेस्ट and same proration would be done in this section. We also have some programs which are professional programs, for example BBA, BMS and BBE, which were earlier done through an entrance test. These have also been included in our in the CUET. In these programs, section 3 has been made compulsory. There is a combination of 1 language, mathematics is compulsory, and section. Of course, we don't need any proration because there is only 1 combination. तो सिर्फ इसके आधार पर कोई एक भाषा, किसी भी 33 भाषाओं में से किसी एक भाषा में गणित और सेक्शन 3 के आधार पर आप इन तीनों प्रोग्राम्स में एडमिशन ले सकते हैं। BLED जो हमारा एक कोर्स है, इसमें because we are regulated by NCTE norm, so the candidate must have obtained 50% marks in class 12. Apart from that, our subject eligibility remains same as for the other rest of the programs. कोई any 2 subjects from list B1 and any 1 subject from either B1 or B2, यानी डोमेन स्पेसिफिक में से किसी भी 3 सब्जेक्ट्स को आप चूज कर सकते हैं और भाषा में से भी आप किसी एक भाषा के आधार पर हम एडमिशन हमारे 2 प्रोग्राम्स हैं, म्यूजिक और फिजिकल एजुकेशन। इन परफॉर्मेंस बेस्ड एक क्राइटेरिया होता है, जैसे कि म्यूजिक में कहते होंगे कि हम कुछ अदर राइडर्स उनके सर्टिफिकेट हुए या उनके बेस या ट्रायल्स के बेसिस पे करते हैं। We have kept that spirit intact, but however in these cases CUET combinations, there are 2 combinations. As this is as we were doing in other subjects, it remains same. Performing arts has been added. If you've come through a performing arts paper, that is fair enough. If you haven't studied music, you still want to come through to music honors, you can take combination 2. That's how it would be. Here the weightage for CUET score is 50% and for performance based score is 50%. So while making the merit, we will first take one of the best scores among combination 1 and combination 2. That best score will be given 50%. Then these performance based score will be taken 50% and a combined merit will be based on these 2 criteria. We've also prepared and we are in the process of making some illustrative examples. These will be live very soon on our website. These are only illustrative examples. We are still working on them, but we thought that these would be very helpful for students to understand all the eligibilities in an infographic manner. These are still under preparation. They're not live on the website right now. For example, in BA Honors English, this is the program specific eligibility that the student understands. So these are the combinations. Suppose the student has chosen section English from section 1 and history, geography, performing arts and agriculture from section 2. So the horizontal line for us, it is telling us that above 2 are from list B1 and below 2 are from list B2. So the combinations would be English, history, geography, and agriculture, which will give me a score T1. English, history, geography, and performing arts will give me a score T2. I'm sorry, the T1 and T3 are actually same. My team made a little mistake here. English, history, agriculture, and performing arts. So student will have these 4 combinations, these 3 combinations. Last one will not be considered the honors English, because in the last one, agriculture and performance art will not be considered because that comes in B2. Highest score of T1 and T2 will be considered to make the merit. One more example for BHU, combination 1 or combination 2. So if the child takes English, history, geography, society, political science, and teaching aptitude and general test, she will have these many combinations. We will take this score from T1, T2, T3, T4, and T5. So this is under making, and we are working very soon. These will be made live. So initiatives with the university taking, we already have a comprehensive website in place, which is giving all the information related to admissions, and the bulletin of information is very vibrant, which is to invite students widely. This will be brought up in few more languages very soon, and the illustrative examples will be uploaded, as I just shared, to make up, so that they can see which subjects they need to appear in CUET, and this will give them a quick reference. These will work as what we are about to do will be uploaded very soon. Thank you so much.
Right. Thank you, Professor Hanit Gandhi. You can please unshare the screen so that we can see each other. Right. Great. So let me congratulate and thank Professor Gandhi for making a very, very clear and comprehensive presentation on how CUET is being used in Delhi University for the admissions in the undergraduate programs. There are many requests in the chat box to make these slides available. But let me tell you that this entire presentation is available on UGC Twitter handle and also on YouTube channel of UGC. You can, after this presentation is over, you can go back and replay on our social media handles and go through this presentation once more. Professor Gandhi has taken several examples also to illustrate how CUET score can be used for the admissions in the undergraduate programs. So what we will do now is to take few questions. If any one of you have any doubts, you can electronically raise your hand, and we will send a request to you to unmute from your side. Then you can briefly ask your question. So before you get ready to raise your hands for any possible questions, let me also inform you that adopting CUET in your undergraduate admissions will not affect the existing reservations in your university. In many of your universities, you may have reservation, certain number of seats reserved for the local students, or in some of the minority institutes, you may have seats reserved for the students coming from the minority category. All those reservations will not be affected at all by using CUET in your admissions. So this is one clarification I wanted to reiterate once more. Now let me go to Professor Syed Ainul Hassan. Could you please unmute, sir?
Our nodal officer is here and director admission. She would like to ask you questions.
Right.
Namaste, sir.
Namaste.
Sir, my problem or our problem is we cater to Urdu medium students, sir. So when they are visiting the QET website or the NTA, everything is written in English. Could there be a chance for us to get some translations, at least the application guide? We are putting it up on our website.
Okay. Okay.
So if that could be put up, it would be very helpful.
Good suggestion. It's a good suggestion. I will talk to NTA and see what can be done.
Sir, we could also help out if it's a problem. We could send you the translation if you require, but we request you to put it up on the website, sir.
Excellent. Excellent. We will definitely take your help. I will talk to NTA and we will take this forward.
Thank you, sir.
Now, let me go to BC of BU. Could you please unmute yourself, sir? VC BU. Yes, you can speak. You are unmuted, but we cannot hear you. Sir, your audio is not clear. We cannot hear you. Okay, let me go to Professor P.K. Agarwal. Could you please unmute yourself?
Sir, good morning, sir, and thank you very much for this program. It is a pleasure. Sir, I am coming from Odisha University of Agriculture and Technology. As you are aware that ICAR has a role to make normal integration of the admission process in the country for agriculture. My one submission will be, sir, how to make UC core values and working style and ICR and SAU, how to make it proper integration so that all the provision of UC are translated properly, and also the fragrance and requirement of agricultural system is also kept. That is my submission. For example, you make some policy for foreign student and some related to MOU between the Indian university and foreign university and admission process, everything. So there I request that if you can take initiative, a common meeting with ICR, UC and we people, it will be great, sir. Thank you.
Sure, sir. We will definitely consider. CUET is not used in the agricultural universities because ICAR conducts its own entrance examination. So therefore, it's a special case. We will definitely look into that. Now, let me go to Professor Farooq Ahmad. Could you please unmute yourself? The backend team may please unmute Professor Farooq Ahmad.
Thank you very much, sir. Sir, a very exhaustive presentation, Professor Gandhi. I'm thankful to you, sir, for arranging this interactive presentation with all of us here. I suppose, sir, as far as NTA is concerned, NTA will be involved in the entire selection process. I don't think there is any role of any individual university in the selection mechanism, and NTA will be providing the merit lists to all the individual universities. Because this is what has been happening, because prior to this, we had been participating university as far as CUCET is concerned. So there, the Rajasthan Central University was the overall in charge university. That university would that time provide us the selection lists with the merit lists. So we, as individual universities, whoever were the participants in that list, they were not concerned with drafting their own selection these lists. This is my simple query, sir.
Let me, Professor Ahmad, let me just clarify. NTA has no role at all in the admission process. It is the individual universities which have their own admission process, just as Professor Gandhi has very clearly explained. DU decides its own admission policy. NTA will simply provide you the scores to the candidates. And when you make the admissions based on CUET scores, NTA can also provide this data to the universities so that you can cross-check the veracity of the scores submitted by the students. Otherwise, you need to design your own admission policy. But of course, there are constituent colleges and affiliated colleges, just as in the case of DU. And once the DU adopts CUET as their admission criteria, then it is applicable for all the constituent colleges and affiliated colleges of that particular university. So if you are an independent university, you have to have your own admission policy based on CUET. So let me now go to Professor Brijesh Srivastava. Could you please unmute yourself? Professor Brijesh Srivastava, yes, please go ahead.
Sir, good morning, sir. Sir, this actually we are first time participating in NTA. Okay, so we have not taken this, whatever the Delhi University has proposed or floated this today they have shown. So earlier we are not knowing about such type of combination, but today they have shown, and now it combination looks very good. But now the NTA notification has come to the on a portal. Now changing at this stage, changing the criteria, changing the examination criteria and all these things will be difficult for us also. So while if this could have been presented earlier.
Professor Brijesh Srivastava, what DU has done is for their use. You can devise your own admission policy. You don't have to follow what DU has done, point one. The only change that you are doing now is instead of using your own entrance examination scores or instead of using the board marks, you are using CUET scores. That is the only change that is happening. So you can easily adopt a CUET score for admissions in your university. Right.
Okay,
so, yeah, let me go to Professor V.K. Shukla. Could you please unmute, sir, yourself?
Hello, sir. I'm Professor S.K. Upadhyay from National Control of Examination at the moment. So I have two issues to ask. The first issue is a candidate can apply to how many universities? Is he free to opt for as many universities as he wants?
Yes, there is no limit on to how many universities a candidate can apply, but there is a limit on how many tests he can write in the domain subjects. Up to 6 a student can write in the domain subjects, and 1 language, and 1 foreign language, and 1 general test if the student wishes.
And my second issue is also related to some extent with the first issue, that University of Delhi, Professor Gandhi has given a very beautiful presentation of various combinations, subject combinations to be taken for different courses. But this subject combinations may vary from university to university. It means a candidate will have to decide what exactly the university he or she prefers to go for, and then accordingly he'll choose the subjects. Am I right?
Precisely. That is why we have been advising the students to visit the websites of the respective universities where they are planning to apply, see their requirements, and appropriately choose the combination of subjects for the CUET tests.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Now, let me go to Professor Abhay Shankar. Yeah. Could you please unmute yourself?
Sir, I am from Swami Vivekananda Subharati University. I am the Pro Vice Chancellor. Ours is a private university. Ours is a private university. Hello.
We can hear you. Please go ahead.
Yes, sir. Hello. My question was whether we can have partial programs through this entrance exam. Like, for example, if we have 50 programs, can we adopt it for only 25 programs? First question.
For all central universities, we have made it very clear that in all the undergraduate programs, CUET score alone should be used. And now you please see the reason why we are requesting everybody, private universities, state-funded universities, to use CUET score is that we need to relieve our students from the kind of stress they are undergoing to get highest scores in the board exams or write multiple entrance examinations. So therefore, whether it is a private university or a state-funded university, it becomes our social responsibility also to provide a level playing ground to our students. So if you have 100 programs, what stops you from using CUET for all the 100 programs? Why only 50 CUET and 50 using the existing the method? So my request is that for all the programs to have a level playing field for the students, use CUET. It becomes, the admission process becomes very simple in that case.
So my another question was, let's say students take admission through CUET when we adopt it, and then the seats remain. At that time, whether the university can conduct its own exam and fill the remaining seats?
Absolutely. We said that you can go through the first cycle and see how many seats are vacant. You can go through the second cycle using the waiting list of the candidates. You can go through the third cycle, third waiting list you can maintain, and you can keep doing it until you fill up all the positions. Suppose at the end of this whole exercise, you are not able to fill up some seats, you can then conduct your own exam and fill it up. Don't leave any seat vacant, because there are so many students who would like to study. right?
Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Great. Now let me go to Professor Ganga Prasad. Could you please unmute yourself?
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Namaskar. We will have some question. Our admission coordinator is here, sir. He would like to ask some question.
Sure.
Sir, good afternoon, sir. We have already prepared as a Central University for CUET, but my question was that under Tripura University, we have around 27 affiliated colleges which are under the state government. So we also need to admit, and there are around 22 to 23,000 applicants every year.
Okay.
So should we also make compulsory for these affiliated colleges also?
If the university is adopting CUET, and in this central adopting CUET, it is mandatory to you. You all your affiliated colleges to use CUET for their admission. It makes the process uniform, and we will ensure that NTA will provide the test centers so that the students have easy access to the test centers. Right. So let me go to the Vice Chancellor of Gautam Buddha University. Could you please unmute, sir?
Good morning, sir. On Vice Chancellor.
Please go ahead.
On behalf of our Vice Chancellor, from Admission Department, so our first question is there any process of enrollment of a state government university to the NTA, or we can directly use the CUT score?
We have written to, I have written personally to all the governors of all the states, education ministers of all the states, requesting them to adopt CUET. Please note that all educational institutes, universities are autonomous institutes, right? Admission policy, curriculum development, what programs you run in your university. These are all decisions that your statutory bodies make. How you want to admit your students, these are all decided by your statutory bodies. So once you get the CUET adopted in your statutory bodies, whether it is a Senate or academic council or syndicate, then you should go ahead and use the CUET. Okay, right. So let me go to Professor A.K. Das. Could you please unmute yourself?
Sir, good afternoon, sir. I'm from Odisha State Open University, sir. We are in the ODL mode, sir. Obviously, my question is whether the ODL universities are also going to take the candidates from the CUET, or
Right.
if not, then are we having any different kind of entrance test for that also? That's what question.
Right. No, it's a very good question. Many people may have this question in their mind. For universities like IGNOU and universities which are open universities, CUET is not required at all, because anybody who wants to join in these universities can join, right? So you are not going to adopt CUET for this.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
Dr. Praveen Pandit, could you please unmute yourself?
Yeah, good afternoon, sir. Yeah, am I audible, sir?
Yes, please go ahead.
Yeah. One most important point I want to raise here, that once we will have the enrollment, when one of the students apply on the NTA side, the institutions, the universities should have the access on the dashboard, so as to check how many students have registered for their universities daily wise, as it used to be earlier in CUCET, that that we were daily checking our, I'm from Central University of Kashmir. We were checking daily that how many students have opted for our university course-wise and the program-wise. That gives us a security as well as the sense of that, yeah, this is a good number of students they are applying, so that we can publish or attract the students to apply for the universities. This is one point, sir. Second point, sir.
Let me answer this, Professor Pandit.
Yeah.
On NTA website, the students are not applying to any particular university. On NTA website, the students are simply applying to write CUET. They choose the appropriate combination of papers and then write these tests. And then after the tests are conducted, NTA will provide the score to the student. Students will then use these scores and go to the respective university's website, admission portal, and then apply there separately. So NTA is not providing the admission to the universities. Okay. And what NTA will do is, suppose these students have applied to certain programs in your university, and you want to cross-check whether the CUET scores provided by the students is correct, then NTA can provide you the data for you to cross-check, right? And also there is no centralized counseling for this. Each university has to do its own counseling.
Right, sir. Right, sir. So second point was with regard to the CUET codes. Question paper codes are to be provided by the NTA. And we are not supposed, we are supposed simply to give them the list of the programs we are running in our institutions, whether those are the UG or the PG. But the codes are to be given by the NTA. That was that I want to know.
So you can go through the presentation made by Professor Gandhi once more. For each program, for example, DU has decided that there should be at least 30% marks in one of the languages, and they should do at least 2 tests from the list B1 and at least 1 test from list B1 or B2. You know, these combinations are already designed by Delhi University. So when the students get their scores, they will get in these combinations of these papers. So therefore, you would know if you are admitting students in BA Political Science, for example, what are the combinations that you are asking? The students will provide the scores in those particular subjects. So you will clearly know when the student submits these scores.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Right. Professor Sanjay Singh, we will take the questions for another 5 minutes because most of the questions may be similar. Professor Sanjay Singh, could you please unmute yourself?
Sir, namaskar, sir. I am speaking on behalf of my Vice Chancellor, Professor Sanjay Singh. He is sitting beside me. I am CUE of this university. Sir, our university started PG programs, PG and PhD programs. But recently, in few courses, we started UG programs. And for that, we have already sent our requisition to CUET. But we want to know about PG programs. What is the status, and sir, when? Because for us, it is very, very important, like JNU. This is
yes, question. NTA is also conducting the tests for the PG programs also. So when NTA announces that, you can use that also. Because in many universities such as JNU, we have many master's programs as compared to undergraduate programs. And it will happen.
Okay, thank you.
So now, Professor Ajay Kapoor, would you like to unmute yourself? Professor Kapoor, please go ahead. We cannot hear you, sir. You have to check your audio.
Can you hear me, sir?
Yes, we can hear you now.
So wonderful to attend this session, and my thanks to you and Professor Gandhi for giving such a clear indication of how to do these things. I represent, I'm Vice Chancellor of JNU Admission, which is a rather specialized university. We are into Vedanta and Kalas, etc. So what we are planning is to transition into this. So mostly we are going for some testing where class can be tested, interviews, etc., and then year 12 marks. So looking at how Delhi University has done it, we are also thinking that we can use marks in that area and we transition it over a year or two. Will that be okay?
If there are special requirements such as in performing arts, conducting an experimental test or an interview, we are permitting that. But in the best interest of the students, we believe that using CUET in all other subjects other than the performing arts or sports would be in the best interest of the students, so that you remove any subjectivity in the selection process. Selection process will be highly objective, because you see even a little difference of 1 mark or half a mark can change somebody's life. CUET score, this is highly objective and there are bound to be no errors at all. So my request to you is to use CUET score.
So, sir, we are exactly going through that. So we thought this year we can consider both. Next year we go for totally CUET.
Okay, right. Thank you. We are running out of a few more questions and then we will have to close here. Anurag ji from IMU, could you please unmute yourself? Please go ahead. We cannot hear you. You need to check your audio. No, you have muted yourself. Okay, I will come back to you. Let me go to CUSAT Kochi. Now, CUSAT Kochi, let me try to unmute. Central Sanskrit University, could you please unmute yourself? Central Sanskrit University.
Sir, namaskar, sir. We are from Central Sanskrit University, Delhi headquarters, and we are talking on behalf of our Honorable Vice Chancellor from Delhi. Sir, there are 2 queries. One, in this admission system, is there any consolations?
Is there any?
Decentralized system of consolations, because all the students, how we approach in all over India, for such a admission.
There is some audio problem. Your voice is breaking.
Sir, am I audible, sir?
You're audible.
Sir, is there any sort of advantage for NRIs for such admission? Because
we are saying what we have said very clearly, that for admitting international students, there is no need to use CUET. You can use your own existing admission procedures.
Sir, just created that very question, sir. These just in IKS, because we are trying to reconstructions for our new generations for IKS. But is there any sort of advantages for Sanskrit, those who are interested, non-Sanskrit people, non-Sanskrit students for admission?
See, CUET, the advantage of CUET is to provide one standardized way of admitting students, right? So the advantage, whether the students will have advantage in studying in one university or the other university, is something that they have to decide based on what programs are available. But I'm not really able to understand your question because your voice is breaking. Let me now move to Professor Sanjeev Kumar Dubey. Could you please unmute yourself? Professor Sanjeev Kumar Dubey, could you please unmute yourself?
नमस्कार सर।
Yes.
इस पहल के लिए शिक्षा मंत्रालय और यूजीसी को बधाई सर। मैं सिर्फ ये कहना चाहता हूं कि क्योंकि ये पहली बार परीक्षा हो रही है और पूरे देश भर के विद्यार्थियों को इसमें शामिल होना है सेंट्रल यूनिवर्सिटीज में प्रवेश के लिए, तो इसके विज्ञापन की योजना थोड़ी विस्तृत रूप से बनाई जानी चाहिए, जिससे कि देश के सभी क्षेत्रों में और सभी भाषाओं के अखबारों में इसका विज्ञापन आ सके। और ऐसी कोई व्यवस्था जो पार्टिसिपेटिंग यूनिवर्सिटीज हैं उनके लिए भी की जाए, जिससे कि वे भी DABP रेट पर NTA और अपने कोर्स के विज्ञापन प्रसारित कर सके, जिससे कि पूरे देश के विद्यार्थियों को यह सूचना मिल सके कि इस बार CUET के द्वारा ही सभी सेंट्रल यूनिवर्सिटीज में और अन्य यूनिवर्सिटीज में प्रवेश हो सकते हैं, क्योंकि विद्यार्थियों को ये जानकारी देना सर बहुत जरूरी है।
Very good suggestion, sir. Very good suggestion. In fact, the heads of many leading universities are part of this discussion now. My request to all of you is, please write about CUET and its advantages in your local media. Please do participate in debates and discussions in your local TV also, because a lot of students who come from rural backgrounds, from remote areas, they also need to understand the advantage of writing CUET, and your participation, your role will play a significant role in creating more awareness. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. I will take one question perhaps from Ved Kumari. Could you please unmute yourself, Ved Kumari ji? Okay, let me go.
Am I able to, are you able to hear me?
Yes, we can hear.
Yeah, I'm the Vice Chancellor, National Law University, Odisha, and I was asking this question that we have yet not registered. We are about to introduce a BA program in different kinds of specialized streams. Our statutory body yet to make it, but we have not registered on the portal yet. Is it still possible for us to register and be part of?
You are most welcome. There is no deadline for registering on the portal. You can still register and use the CUET scores for your admission process.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. And ERA University, could you please unmute yourself?
Thank you very much. Sir, this doubt was there because you have offered certain combinations and students will take test in that combination itself. And based on that score, we'll give admission. But we have observed that many students, like after taking admission, they sometimes change the subjects and even streams. What will be the option for that if we adopt this process?
See, the students have the options to apply to multiple universities. So obviously, they will choose one of the universities, and in the other universities, some vacancies may be created. Then you go for the second list. You go for the third list. And
it's not like that, sir. Same score, sorry to interrupt like this. Like if a person has taken admission, he or she finds this other combination very good in the same university. We have students who switch to different subjects. So for that, because we take their 12th class eligibility, and that is fine. But for this score, you are having particular, subject combination. If he or she chooses some other subject combination,
the subject combination is only illustrative, and it is only specific to DU. You should decide what should be the subject combination in your university. Okay. What DU Dean has presented here, it is not a mandatory thing for all of you to use those combinations.
I understand, sir. But I mean, then we'll fix that student can take test only in these subjects, and he or she cannot change the switch over to other subject. That option will have. But I think private universities will understand that this becomes very difficult for us, because sometimes students switch and then we can fill up the seats. If this will be mandatory कि जिसमें आपने पास किया है CUET, उसी में ही आपको admission लेना है, later on you cannot switch. It will be little difficult for both the students and for us also, sir. I hope you understand this.
No, in that case, if you think it is difficult for the students, don't do it, because from our side we are not deciding your admission policy. We are only saying that you participate in CUET and you admit the students only if they have cleared CUET. That's all we are saying. What combinations you want to use, what you want to make mandatory or not is completely your admission policy. And the admission policy will vary from university to university. So you have complete autonomy there.
I think a gentleman had raised this query. If hum pura na karke all the seats, not like that. Some like 50% seats through CUET and 50% like choice based, whatever, some other criteria. So will it be possible, sir? I think that's the thing you said, ki why not CUET for full thing? But
Correct.
sometimes
we are saying that don't admit 50% seats based on boards, 50% on CUET. To have a equal, common standard everywhere in all your programs, admit them using CUET. But however, would you like to use only scores from 2 tests for your admission in your program, or 3 tests, or 3 tests plus also 1 language compulsory? These are all issues that your academic council has to decide and design the admission process.
So if you permit another question, I can ask. So there are certain councils like Council of Medical, NMC hai, yeah, for pharmacy, nursing. They, what about those? They will
Absolutely. This is also a very, very important question.
Yes.
Just as the DU has decided that in all the programs, they said if you pass just +2, that is good enough. But in a few particular programs, they said the respective council mandates that the student has to get some minimum percentage in +2. Therefore, they are adopting that. So similarly, if any council, particular council is mandating certain requirements in the +2, you have to adopt that.
That we are doing. So it will be separated from CUET. Those will not be covered under CUET. That's what I understand.
Yes.
Am I right, sir? Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much.
The agricultural programs are not covered. The medical programs are not covered. The engineering programs are not covered. Right?
Yes,
These are mostly for non-professional.
That's what I understood, yes, sir. But thank you very much, sir.
So I think we'll have to close here now. There have been a lot of queries, and many of these queries are common to most of you. So therefore, I would like to thank once more Professor Gandhi for making a very, very clear presentation. And I would like to thank all my colleagues who have joined across the country in this presentation. And this presentation will be available on the Twitter handle of UGC and also on the YouTube channel of UGC. Later, you can go through this if there are any questions. So with those comments, I would like to conclude here. Thank you. Thank you very much.